Um, just a few weeks ago, our Phosani setup looked like this. And then we quickly transitioned to this. And then we got this. And now finally, just last week, we got this. And yes, I am switching back to the scythe because now that we have full Inquisitors, the DPS difference between using the mace and the scythe, well, the scythe is a whole 0.3 DPS better. So today we're going to continue doing some more Phosani's Nightmare and try to get ourselves either a Volatile Orb, a Eldritch Orb, or perhaps even another Nightmare Staff. Or, if we're very lucky, well, we are lucky, let's just take a look at the log already, or if we're very, very lucky, we could get the pet as well. There is green log potential with our Phosani's collection log right now. We just logged on for the day, so naturally there are some things to do. Of course, pick from our trusty whiteberry bush that has been here since we probably had the level to plant a whiteberry bush. TP to the farming guild. Looks like our farming contract is ready. Potato cacti. I'll be taking the EXP from that, and then we'll be speaking to the guildmaster. What's our next contract? Cannantine, we can definitely do that. We're harvesting some snape grass right now as well, and honestly, I'm wondering, do we profit prayer potions from doing Phosani's? When they do drop, it does give a lot of prayer potions. I don't know, I haven't really been paying that close of attention. Of course, one birdhouse run a day at minimum. And just one more little thing before we finally get started on the Phosani's grind today. That's going to be doing some blood rune crafting. We're going to be using the scythe again, so we're definitely going to be using a fair bit of charges, and in turn, a fair bit of blood runes. I'm not going to do too many trips here though, just a couple to get us going so I don't feel as bad burning all our blood runes. And I made a foolish mistake, I didn't fill my colossal pouch, so that was a whole run to the altar for a whopping 47 blood runes. Since we did change our setup a little bit, oh, I just realized I don't have the plate skirt on. For viewers that have seen the previous videos, this setup is mostly the same. We're just swapping out the Torva legs with our new Inquisitor's plate skirt, and we're now using a scythe. But that's the biggest difference, right? We're now using a scythe again, so the Inquisitor's mace goes in our inventory, and because of that, we're actually -1 inventory space. We're down a little bit of food, but everything else is the same. We're bringing 1 Sandfew, or it's not a Sandfew, it's a Relsum's Balm, 2 Prayer Potions, a Divine Super Combat, our Saturated Heart. Of course, we have Death Charge and Thralls. I am still bringing the mace, and that's just to deal with the parasites. Alright, let's head on over to Phosani's. Our starting KC is 735, which is where we last left off, the exact number where we pulled the Inquisitor's plate skirt, completing the set. Now, we're off on our journey to try to get another staff, maybe the pet, and definitely 2 more orbs. I suppose in bringing the mace and the scythe still, there's also some pretty niche uses as well. For example, just at the end of this phase just now, Phosani's was left with just about 3 health before I phased it to this totem phase, and I was able to just mace it rather than scythe it, saving me a tick. So very marginal difference there, but you know, I guess if you really want a game, it is worth it. Alright, but here we go. First KC of the day. Ooh, a max claw. Okay, followed by a 2. Like most first KCs of the day or in any session, they're usually a little bit rough. You can see I'm completely out of food right now, and hopefully I get the swing here. Very nice. 10 HP, no food. Can't even proc another redemption. And we get 7 Snapdragon Seeds. Working on the second KC here. I'm not going to be showcasing every KC, obviously, but in the middle of me doing this, Clan is having a conversation with me about Phosani's, and I just got asked, am I going to do more after completing full Inquisitors? Kind of funny, as I'm quite literally doing Phosani's right now. Oh no. Did I just die 2 times in a row, making it all the way to Enrage phase? Maybe. Okay, we're heading back though, and we're making another little adjustment. Turns out I don't really need the Avernic Defender to one-shot the parasites, and definitely not the husk, so I'm going to be dropping that, and now we have an extra piece of food once again. Man, this session has been rough. My 3rd death already. I did get in a good little bit before I died again this third time. You know, I did start off dying twice in a row. But yeah, I don't know. It's been a little bit rough, but I am enjoying having this full Inquisitor set. I've been thinking, I mean, very obviously, we have a very, very fortunate collection log, but it honestly could not have worked out any better, because now that we have the full Inquisitor set, it actually enables us to farm the boss quicker, right? Whereas if we spoon the Volatile Orb or the Eldritch Orb, or even both of them rather than the full Inquisitor set, well, while those drops are nice, it doesn't help us farm the boss any quicker. So with the way things have panned out, us going for the Volatile Orb, the Eldritch Orb, and even the pet perhaps, we get to do it in full Inquisitors, in full best in slot. Minus the Void Waker, but we don't talk about that. Alright, we are reaching a little bit of a milestone. Working on KC 750 right now, which is actually initially the goal I had in mind in last week's video, where I wanted to get to 750 in my session, but we ended up pulling the plate skirt on 735, and then we got sidetracked on a whole bunch of things. But here we are back at Phosani's, and we're going to chip away. We're going to continue doing more Phosani's. I don't actually know how much. I gotta say that now that I have the full Inquisitor set... Oh, I gotta eat here. I'm actually not potted. I'm greeting on my Divine Super Combats. What are we getting? Grimy Torstals, not too bad of a drop. But as I was saying, now that I have full Inquisitors, it's actually not as motivating to go for the Volatile and Eldritch Orbs, because they're just not that useful. I mean, even the Inquisitor set at this point in time isn't that useful, but it is nice to have. So I don't know how much more Phosani's Nightmare I'm going to be doing with this stint. I guess a few weeks ago when I first started this grind again, I did say 1000 KC, and I suppose that's a nice number to round off. But I don't know. I don't want to confirm anything. I don't have any concrete goals at this point in time, because realistically, if I leave Phosani's right now, what else is there left to do? Do hundreds, thousands of corp to get an Ellie? Yeah, I don't know. So we'll just see day by day. You know, maybe one day I'm just going to get bored of Phosani's, but right now I'm still enjoying it, to be honest. Oh, and one more note before I continue the grind. I was expected to see a drop at 791 KC. That's not going to be the case anymore because we spooned the skirt early. And as such, the next item that we're expecting to see isn't going to be until 904 KC. Again, this is just based on the numbers. Obviously, we've been lucky, and maybe we will continue to be lucky. Or, alternatively, we could also just start going on a dry streak. I don't know, and you just never know. But right now, things are looking good, and I'm still motivated to do Phosani's. Now that I'm using the scythe again, I got curious. I wanted to find out how many scythe charges I was using per KC. So just before I start this one, if we just scroll up a little bit, also let's try not to die, if I can find it without dying. You know what, basically before the KC, I checked my scythe charges, and then I'll be checking it once I complete this KC, and I'll check back in with you once I have that done. Okay, now that we're not fighting for our lives, just got done with the KC, I can finish what I was trying to say. So before the KC, I checked how many scythe swings I had, or how many charges I had. The number was 12,807. After being done with the KC, we are now down to 12,771. So if we subtract those numbers, 36 charges, which is actually not very much, actually. I'm kind of surprised. But I suppose if we break it down, we don't really do that many scythe swings, since it hits so hard anyways. That's honestly not too bad. We won't have to make too many blood runes. KC 760? Okay. Here's the collection log. You know what? Okay, Beach Kev just said it in the clan chat. 416 hero is eating. We're working towards a dupe set of Inquisitors for the 50 defense account. Alright, cool. Rune airdrops to follow up that Inquisitor's top, so no back-to-back. Ooh, and a new PB. I knew this was happening eventually. 444. 9 Snapdragon seeds. Alongside getting that PB, that was KC number 776, which means I've done a whopping 41 Phosani's Nightmare KC today. I think this is by far the most I've ever done in a day, and to be honest, I'm still feeling pretty good. I might squeeze out 1 or 2 more KCs, but I'm definitely getting off soon. We'll definitely continue to chip away at the KC, and based on how today has felt, I think I will try to go for 1,000. Now, I don't know how long that's going to take me. I mean, even with full Inquisitors now, we're still really getting the same KC an hour. It's just each KC feels a bit more comfortable. But yeah, I'll squeeze in a few more KCs, and then I'll do a little blood rune crafting session just to make sure I have enough blood runes to upkeep the scythe charges. We talked about this earlier, but it's actually not too many scythe charges per KC. In fact, it's probably more shadow charges than anything. And, well, in terms of upkeeping the shadow, I'm just going to have to buy chaos runes, and I still have a pretty healthy stack of soul runes sitting in the bank. Well, got my few extra KCs in. It is blood rune crafting o'clock. Okay. Okay, I didn't want to go to bed. I was actually amethyst mining after the blood rune crafting session, and I was just about to get off. But I'm gonna scroll up in the chat box here a little bit. I was like, I kind of want to do some more Phosani's Nightmare. A few more KCs wouldn't hurt, right? Well, first KC, 439, new PB. What a terrible start to a new day. My herb patch is dead, which is also my farming contract. It's just Cadentine though, we have plenty of those, so I'll replant that, I suppose. Getting geared up for more Phosanis, obviously, and it's so strange to see that we now have this number 2 on the top left corner of our Inquisitor's top. Well, I guess we're working our way towards a second set of Inquisitors. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Alright, I am just a few KCs shy of getting to 800 Phosani's KC, but spur of the moment I was gonna come to Calvarion and do a quick trip. If you guys have been following the series for a while, or if you haven't, I can just fill you in real quick. The Void Waker grind is a very sore spot for me, as I am over 4 times try for the Void Waker blade here at Calvarion. Never mind, you know, like, the fact that Void Waker has 3 different pieces from 3 different bosses. We haven't even gone to the other 2 bosses yet because we've been stuck at Calvarion. Now, this is a very bad sign. As I'm talking here, I've hopped like 20 worlds just to find an open world. And now we can finally begin a trip. I don't plan on camping Calvarion, but for whatever reason, after probably a few months now since the last time I did Calvarion, I kind of had like an itch to come here, try my luck. I guess like maybe because my Phosani's Nightmare luck has been so good, maybe it'll transfer over here to Calvarion, right? Although, not that if we get the blade now, it's good luck, because like I said, we are over 4 times try. But yeah, let's just see what happens, and let's see how long it takes for a PKer to show up. I don't know. It's been a few months since my last trip, so I don't know, maybe the landscape has changed. But it's definitely not a good sign that I had to hop 20 plus worlds to find an open world. I used to hit the TP, but that was a whopping maybe 10 minutes, not even. 9 minutes into a trip and a PK of a Void Waker rolled in already. That was the strangest thing I've seen. I've never seen that before in my hundreds of hours doing Calvarion now. As I was running back after that initial PK encounter, there was probably a bot. That with the name and the look of that guy, that was probably a bot that was ahead of me, and I was like, you know what, like this was my world, let me finish my KC, right? Let's see if he world hops or something. And then a PK logs in the corner of the graveyard, the cemetery. I've never seen that. Okay, I'm using a 2350 total level world now, which I think I should be safer, but at the same time, once somebody finds me, I'm probably not going to be able to come back. Alright, I think that's enough Calvarion for me because I spent 40 minutes just to get 20 KC and ran into 3 PKers already, so... Yep, just gonna call it there, back to Phosani's. I didn't have too much time today, and beyond that I also used what time I did have to do some hard mode top as well. It's late in the night now, and we're gonna make our way over for a few Phosani's KC. I don't know how many I'm gonna do, but we're just one away from the big 800. Here we go for the 800th KC. I know I'm unpotted right now, but surely we get it done. Don't want to repot and then waste a lot of it just going to bank and whatnot. One more scythe swing. And what are we gonna get? Soul runes. Wow, 1 KC later, 801, we get another parasitic egg. I say another because let's take a look at the collection log here. That is our 6th one in 801 KC. These things are 1 in 200, by the way. It's a brand new day now, and I already started the day off by potting some trio tops. Managed to snag myself a purple. Ooh, a purple. A purple. For me. Hope it's not a scythe for Hosen's sake. Although, a scythe would be money. A Vernic Defender hilt. Okay. Alright, wait, okay. For a second, I thought that was down to 40 mil. It's 46 mil now. Okay. Not bad, not bad. That was a Vernic number 20. Oh, and we got a sandwich lady. Baguette, perhaps? Oh, baguette chance, baguette chance. Never stale. With the top session out the way, I've geared back up in my Phosani's Nightmare setup because, well, I'm actually very much enjoying the grind now that I actually have the gear to properly do the grind. And beyond that, obviously being spooned makes the boss a whole lot more fun, seemingly. Crazy concept, I know, but okay, we're up to 814 KC now. So over the course of the last 2 days or so, I've actually done like 80 KC, which is a fair amount, honestly. I don't think I've ever done this much in this window of time. And by the end of the week, I think we'll be able to reach like over 200 KC, honestly, which means we might be able to get to that 1000 Phosani's KC mark I talked about a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, it seemed like a far-fetched thing to do, but now it seems like it's a possible reality. But I don't know, when we get to 1000, I'm also just going to reassess what I want to do. Right now, as I said, I'm enjoying the grind quite a bit, but I don't see myself grinding out Phosani's Nightmare for 6000 straight KC, which is the expected number to get all 3 orbs and everything else. I just planked at Phosani's in a way which has never happened before to my knowledge, to what I can recall, and I just planked to Husk. Honestly, I blame the Inquisitors. As good as it is offensively, best in slot crush, defensively, it's as good as adamant armor. Just doing a little bit more blood rune crafting right now. I have done several stints of blood rune crafting, but I haven't really done it for like a good session, so we haven't really picked up too many blood runes. I'm going to do a good 20 to 30 minutes or so here just to make sure our stack goes up, because while we do have 26k blood runes in our bank right now, I haven't recharged my scythe yet, so a lot of those blood runes are going to disappear pretty soon. Alright, getting ready to go back to Phosani's, but before we do that, let's recharge our scythe. It still has 8,200 charges left, or just under that, but I'm going to go ahead and recharge it now just to see how many blood runes I'm left with. Alright, after charging it with 100 vials, we're now up to 18,200 charges. And we have just under 9,000 blood runes remaining. And whatever we have in the rune pouch, I guess. Yep, we still have another 16,000 in rune pouch, so we still have a healthy stack. What the? Another parasitic egg. I remember the exact KC we last got one too. 801 and now 831. We get yet another parasitic egg. Let's take a look at the collection log here. That is our 7th one. These things are 1 in 200. What is going on? Making my way over to KC 850, so we're definitely racking up the KCs now. With this setup, I'd say we're closer to 5 minutes per KC than 6 more times than not. Here we go, KC 850. What are we getting? Cosmic runes. You know, anytime I do get cosmic runes here, I do kind of appreciate it because I would otherwise have to buy them from the store. So right now we are 150 KC away from the 1000 KC mark, which is a nice little milestone that we're shooting for right now. And when we get there, I'm going to reassess what I want to do, if I want to continue doing more Phosanis or move on to another grind. So let's take a look at the collection log here, and I haven't got any drops since the second Nightmare Staff, or actually the last drop was the second Inquisitor's Top. This is 8 items in total that we've seen so far. And we're not going to expect to see a 9th one until KC 1017. So assuming things are going to even out and we're going to go on rate, we may not see another item for the rest of this grind up to 1000. Although, you know, very recently we just got our 7th parasitic egg, and these things are 1 in 200, so we're well over rate on the eggs. And our log in general is just very, very lucky. Like, never mind the fact that we already have the Jar of Dreams, which is a whopping 1 in 4,000. Continuing to chip away at the KC now, and I was just thinking, honestly, with RNG and expected KC for drop and yada yada yada, all that, it really just depends on how you look at it, right? So our last drop was on KC 760. We are up to 856 now. So just quick rounded math there. That's about 90 KC or so, maybe a little less than that. So maybe we'll see another drop in like 20 something KC. We are currently working on KC 873, which is exactly 113 KC since we last pulled the second Inquisitor's Top. So depending on how we look at it, maybe we should be expecting a drop. But if we're looking at it from, you know, you start from 0, well, we're not going to see a drop till 107 or 1017. But if we're trying to be greedy, now we start asking where our drop is. No unique, but prayer potions are a fairly good consolation prize. Working my way towards a mildly interesting KC number, 888. Can we get lucky and get a drop here? Let's find out. Very good scythe swings there for being unpotted. And we are getting gold ore. Okay. Today's Phosani's grind has actually been going very, very well. We started out the day at 845, and obviously we just came out at 888. So that is what, 43 KC on the day already. And knock on wood, but I think I've only died 1 time today. So that's a pretty good KD ratio. What the heck? Make it make sense. KC 890, another parasitic egg. That is number 8. Alright, here we go. We made it to KC 900, assuming the enrage phase doesn't go terribly wrong. This is a very big Phosani's Nightmare day. We've done 55 KC in a day. Obviously not very repeatable. I'm probably not going to do 55 KC every day. Even 40 is a bit of a stretch, but I am aiming to do just that on our way to 1000 KC. So 900 KC, let's see what we're going to get here. The thrall finishes the job, and let's check it out. Nature runes. Another day of picking from the whiteberry bush. Oh. Sang kit number 5, I think. Let's take a look here. Sang kit number 5. Progress has been a bit slow today. I did spend some time doing some hard mode top and got myself the 5th Sang kit, as I showed earlier, but we are only working on KC number 10 here at Phosani's. A drastic difference, complete opposite direction than what we did yesterday, where I think I ended up doing like 50 yesterday. But yeah, things are slowing down now. I'm still going to try to get to 1000. That may take a couple more days though. Well, this is not exactly what you want to see. Brand new day now, and I'm continuing the Phosani's Nightmare grind on the way to 1000 KC, as I've said before. But we started out with a plank. Actually, I think I did 1 KC before this. Yeah, I did. We're up to 936 now, but I already planked, and it was kind of painful because it was pretty late in the KC too. I was already there for like 4 or 5 minutes, so it's the absolute worst when that happens, but nevertheless, we continue. Slow and steady, but we made it all the way to 950 KC. Another 50 to go until we hit the big 1K. Again, we've been pretty lucky early in this grind, so the last 100 plus KC, 150 plus now even, we haven't seen a drop, but I really can't complain too much. Oh, I was just about to say another day, another whiteberry bush patch, but we just completed it. Anyway, starting out today, let's take a look at the collection log. We are all the way up to 970 KC, and if things go according to plan, today should be the last day for us to get to 1000. We should be hitting that today. Will we get another drop? Honestly, I feel like unlikely. We haven't seen a drop in quite some time. Again, that's just because we were lucky. We were kind of front-loaded on the drops. But we are approaching the rate for another item soon, actually. Here we go. First KC on this final day. 30 KC to go. Scythe is not hidden. Of course, we're being stingy and we're unpotted right now. But the scythe is hitting very low regardless. We'll be okay though. One more scythe swing perhaps. There we go, there we go. And we are getting Mithril Ore. Alright, we are 10 KC in now. Well, after this one, just 20 more to go. Some Cosmic Runes. And now, just 10 more KC to go till the big 1000. We get some more Cosmic Runes. I feel like time has flown by today and we've been racking up the KC. I guess when you can kind of see the finish line when you're close, you get a bit of a boost in motivation. I got up to 999 KC and I got pulled away to do some hard mode tops, and there wasn't even a purple to show for. Well, now I have returned to get one more KC, the final KC for 1000, and then I'm not done with Phosani's after 1000, but I guess I'll be done for now. Take a little bit of a break, figure out what else I want to do on this Ironman account here, and then sometime down the line, we'll definitely return. But yeah, last one for now. Let's see what happens. Entering the enrage phase for 1000 KC. Surely I don't mess up here, right? And we just secure the KC. And wouldn't it be something if we actually got a drop? In all the KC we've done, and as lucky as we were in the beginning in the lower KCs, up to this point now we're actually back on rate, and we're gonna be due for a drop, a 9th drop at 1017. Unfortunately though, for KC 1000 we end up with 23 bass. Here is one final look at the collection log at the Nightmare, more specifically Phosani's 1000 KC on the log. It honestly hasn't changed much between now and the second Inquisitor's top we got. I think we may have got 1 or 2 eggs, but no items. We'll see what happens in the future. But for now, I have to figure out what I want to do next. I do know that I want to take a small break from Phosanis though.